It's time for another episode of the Not Quite Serious podcast. This is the 12th of November 2017. I'm Leon, and there's your other host, Dan.
Hey everyone, I think this is the 8th one of these we've done. Well,
Yep, this will be episode 8, I think. Yep.
Today we got a amazing show for you. We've got food and drink to try, news to tell, and games that we've played.
Yeah, we're going to try and be a bit more concise on the food and drink this time, because we got a bit out of hand last time. We went on a bit too much, I think. So
every detail can be shared.
Yeah, we're just going to... I mean, the idea wasn't that this turns into a massive half-hour-long food podcast, so...
Let's chow down.
So yeah, let's start with Dan's food.
Well, today for the food and drink, thought I would try a rather healthy-looking option, Nuts and More. It's made by Kellogg. Bought this in Sainsbury's for 90p.
Mm-hmm.
And your Nuts and More, that's 12% of your calorific intake per... Well, I don't know if this is for a man, but 12%. That's
it's usually err on the side of caution and do it for a lady's calorie intake, I find.
234 calories.
234?
Whip into this. Yes.
Yeah. I suppose if it is a nut bar, and nuts are quite calorific, so...
Yeah. I can really smell that. It's mostly chocolate, I think. That's probably where the calories are coming from. It's a pretty tasty looking offer in this.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Let's have a go with that.
Give it a go.
Oh, very tough.
That'll be the nuts. Or maybe the more.
Yeah. Definitely plenty of more in here. More is too. It's very nice. What you got is these sort of pile of nuts along the top over like a layer of chocolate underneath. It's very much like your standard breakfast bar kind of design, having the layer of something underneath. That simulates like the milk or whatever. Sometimes it's yogurt, sometimes it's caramel or something, but that's incredibly nice.
Sounds good, yeah.
Nice mouthful of nuts. Great nutty aftertaste. And chocolatey and sweet. I'd recommend that for 90p.
Sounds good. Sounds, yeah.
Now,
so what have you brought to wash it down with?
Wash that down. This is also a fine product of Sainsbury's. Bolt Blue energy drink by Sainsbury's.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. That seems to be there.
Caffeine. It's just there, isn't it? It doesn't entirely make any sense for why this exists, but it does.
I think that's their basic standard energy drink.
It's a great big blue can with silver accents. Light blue text that says Bolt Blue. Obviously, there's no calorific relevance in this apart from sugar, which is 30% of your intake.
Is that for the whole can?
Yeah.
Okay, not just half the can.
Immediately, I smell bog standard energy drink.
Yeah, sounds great.
In this handy glass.
I hope no one needed to pee.
That was a full-on pouring sound effect.
Yeah, that's dark urine yellow, that one.
It's a slightly darker yellow. A very amber energy drink hue, this.
Almost Iron Brewing colour, from where I'm looking.
There's a bit of a foamy head on top. This is incredibly carbonated, this one. Get that down me. For 55p, it tastes okay. It's in a nice can. I guess they're cheaper. It doesn't taste like magnificently cheap, I suppose. Doesn't taste particularly amazing. I could probably give it a neither here nor there, just because there are cheaper ones available, I guess, and there's nothing super special about this.
Just pretty standard then.
Yeah, bog standard energy that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Delicious nuts and energy.
Cool.
How
Pretty
about
good.
yourself, my good sir?
See what we've got. As soon as it's around that time of year, the shop started getting Christmas things in. So I came across these limited edition,
Oh.
limited edition candy cane hand-cooked potato crisps.
How does one cook a candy cane?
Candy cane crisps.
Oh.
Yeah, take a look at that.
I mean, that's not the best thing to look at early in the morning, late at night, or even any time.
Standard candy canes are traditionally peppermint flavour, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I imagine these are peppermint flavoured crisps.
Minty crisps. That's a
Minty
real
crisps.
sensation you want on your crisp.
That's a weird smell. There's you can smell the oil they cook the crisps in, and the crisps themselves smell really good. And then there's a strange minty waft that comes with it. So,
just a waft.
It's bizarre. I don't know if it's bad, but it's bizarre. So.
Well, I better get a smell of that.
Let me try and find it. Oh, here we go. Some of the crisps, the flavouring itself is pink. Some of the crisps look very pink.
You've been quite generous with that flavouring by the looks of things.
Yeah. I'll try a generously flavoured crisp just to get a good taste of it. Huh.
Delicious peppermint?
That's really weird. Let me try another one. You've got a minty taste that clashes with the taste of the crisp. It doesn't mix.
There's nothing like a horrible taste clash.
So it's minty, but then the crisps themselves have a really, really nice sort of, what is that? Sunflower oil, yeah. A really nice taste of sunflower oil and potato, but then mint on top. It's like, here's some tasty crisps and here's some mint. Eat them together.
Could you eat a pack of mints and then eat a pack of crisps for much the same situation?
Possibly. If I'm 100% honest, these aren't disgusting. They're not absolutely terrible. I don't think they're really, really bad. It's just a really strange thing to have a minty crisp. So I'm not going to give them a thumbs down because they're not horrible. But I'm not going to give them a thumbs up because I don't really enjoy them. So it's a shame because the crisps themselves are delicious, but they're
saved by their very delicious nature with a horrific flavouring on top.
If I ate a lot of them, I'd probably get used to the taste and start to enjoy them. But you know, we'll see. We'll see if I have the patience for that at some point.
At some point down the line. Don't worry, you've got plenty of time till Christmas.
Yeah. So.
They'll now know what present I'm getting you for Christmas.
Some peppermint crisps. Yeah, so to wash away the peppermint crispy taste.
Oh, who know what it's time for?
Drink beer, so I can have beer, so I can get my beer faction.
Beerist Faction.
Beerist Faction. And here is a can of numero uno.
And it's some real mean hombre on the cover there.
Yeah. Agave Cerveza. Lager beer brewed with agave nectar and with lime zest added. So
it does seem like they've put some effort in there. There's like crazy ingredients and not just a simple, subtle blend of hops, as most beers tend to be. Whether that's good or not.
Well, the ingredients just say water, barley, hops, yeast.
I guess some
Even
must
though
be
it,
secret ingredients.
even though it says lime zest was added.
Huh.
Oh, well, whatever. It's by Flying Dog. Can't remember if I had a beer from Flying Dog before, but give it a go. This is a lager, so this will be very, very fizzy. I don't normally drink lager, but I don't mind a lager every now and again. So
I tend to find lager as a smoother drink.
I do find them sometimes a little bit too gassy for me. So it's got a nice red ring pull.
Oh, yeah.
So let's pull it and get into the can. Yeah, that does smell slightly zesty. Yeah, it smells like have you ever been to a pub and had lager and lime?
Yes, I've had a lager and lime once. It was a long time ago.
It kind of smells like lager and lime. It does have a lagery smell.
Oh yeah, it's got a
And,
fine lager look to it.
You can smell the. See how it is now? It's aerated in the glass. Yeah, you can definitely smell some zesty citrus in there. And yeah, basically, it just looks like lager. So.
You know, I kind of got carried away and then sniffed in, and then smelled the smell of energy drink, and I was like, huh?
It smells like a standard Bolt Blue energy drink.
I mean, I suppose it's not a million miles away in the
No, so this is a little bit lighter in colour. But, see what this tastes like. I imagine it'll taste like lager and lime, but I've been tricked by smells before. That's very smooth. Very, very smooth.
Are those aerated pockets quietly getting past your gullet, causing you a terrible indigestion later down the line?
So yeah, it doesn't taste like lager and lime. It tastes like lager. Obviously, it's a lager. It's a nice smooth. It's not too fizzy though. I was expecting it to be slightly fizzier. It has quite a light taste and a little hint of citrus in there as well. So that's quite nice. I like that. That's definitely better than last week's beer. Last times, sorry. Yeah, it's definitely better than that.
Good.
It's decent. I'd give this a thumbs up. If I suppose I should rate it on my beerometer.
Barometer.
So I would give it. Since I'm not a big lager guy, probably a 6.5.
6.5.
So it's above average. It's above average. I like it, but I'm not a big lager guy, so I can't go too much higher because the taste of lager is it's not great for me.
Some people aren't gonna. Yeah, I can understand that.
If you prefer something like ales, and if you prefer like IPAs, something zestier, and you might not like that as much, but it's nice if you like lager and you don't mind, and you like a bit of a zesty fragrance to it. It's very nice.
That sounds promising.
Yeah. So yeah, and we were much more concise than we were last time with the food.
We'll leave through that one.
Yep. So what have we got coming up next? We have some.
Let me see if I can see in your glasses there. Move on to the news.
Let's move on to a bit of news.
Alrighty.
So
images. There we go. Lovely image.
Came up in the news this time. We actually struggled a bit to find a news story relevant to our interests this week, but we did find one, and it involves the MMO Tera, which came out in the US in 2012. So came to the West in 2012.
I did play Terra back in the day for a few months with a friend.
Yeah, I know.
Before Game Geki though, so
I remember you mentioning it back then. Actually, yeah. I've seen a few people play it. It seems like it's an MMO. It's not really my thing.
It's all right.
Yeah,
better than
some
schlock I've come across.
Yeah, there was a little bit of an issue brought to light about the chat interface in the game. I'm just going to read a little bit of this article on Engadget.
Mm-hmm.
It's so yeah, Terra debuted in 2012. Shut down its in-game chat system after some players discovered a potentially serious vulnerability. So yeah, the chat interface in Terra uses HTML. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is easily exploitable, obviously. So I don't think this has happened, but there's the potential for malware to be injected into the game, basically through the HTML.
The chat itself is vulnerable to code injection.
Yeah, because it just uses HTML. So
and that's in the game itself.
That's in the game itself, so you could potentially spread malware through the chat client in game.
Gosh, you could just be playing the game, you're not even involved in the chat, and then something afoot.
From the sounds of things, yeah, that's which is
like
funny that the game's been running in that state for like 5 years. So nothing's happened yet, but it's been brought up as an issue, and the developer has basically whipped the chat system out of the game for the time being till they fix it.
God.
So
they weren't able to come up with a text-only version. It's one way to get rid of the chatbots.
True, and for anyone that doesn't really care about the in-game chat, it's not really going to affect them. I suppose people who play with friends usually use a use a VoIP anyway, don't they? So
sure.
It says that the developer Bluehole's already begun working on a fix, but to be able to investigate the vulnerability thoroughly, the NMAS, the North American publishers, decided to shutter all in-game chat features except guild chats. So guild chats are still up, just not the in-game chat box, I guess.
You can still construct an elaborate ploy to hire everyone into your guild and then unleash the nastiest spyware you've ever fought. Malware.
Yeah, or spam them with pictures of cats that they don't want.
How do you... I guess you can't recruit it for a guild, though, if you can't communicate one's desire to recruit.
No, I guess not. Hopefully the chat system won't be down for too long before they patch it back up.
Yeah, I figure by now, because they're 5 years in, they won't be getting as many new players. It'll be like their base of hardcore people kind of running
I guess so, yeah.
Day. And most of them will be in a guild, so I guess they've kind of set it up in a way that helps most of the people out. The new people are going to struggle a bit more, but hopefully they've got their VOIPs for now, just to soldier on.
I mean, they've said that they expect the patch to be dropped next week, so or that would be this week, since it's Sunday. So yeah, so the patch should be dropping within the next few days, by the sounds of things.
Suppose we would have heard if the game had abruptly gotten everyone.
If malware had started actually being spread through there, I think this would be a much bigger news story. Yeah.
Yeah. The fate of
speaking of chat
clients,
Speaking of chat clients, there's a bit of news that we missed out on last time. We just completely overlooked it for some reason. AOL Instant Messenger shut down.
Oh dear. So AOL Instant Messenger. I do have that story here, actually.
Yeah, I'll let you let you run with that one.
I'll run with this. So AOL Instant Messenger, it's actually due to shut down after 20 years on December the 15th. If you really want to get your nostalgic AOL on, do it now, because you've got 1 month.
I can't believe it's been 20 years. That's crazy.
This is definitely the messenger that I think the original one that we kind of grew up on.
Yeah, I mean, I used that for
MSN, one or the other.
I used that for a long time.
It's we've added all our teenage angst onto.
Yeah, being an AOL user back in the day, you automatically had AIM built into your web service. So.
Yeah, you're right. Must have been the first one.
That's so. It's not that strange. It's not strange at all. But it's like it's the end of an era. 20 years.
It's kind of, in one hand, no one uses it anymore. It's hard to believe they've even still been going all this time.
No, I mean, I stopped using it like 10 years ago.
But on the other hand, I guess if it's been someone's day-to-day message platform, it'd be a shame for them.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose most people just use their mobile phone now and use things like WhatsApp.
Well, WhatsApp and Facebook have basically taken the de facto messaging thing in the West, at least.
Yeah, there's Facebook Messenger, there's WhatsApp, there's other messaging programs out there as well. They seem to be the most widely used.
I mean, in China and stuff, there's that QQ. I think that's like basically the big dog. That everyone has that over there. But
it's basically like WhatsApp over here.
Yeah, kind of like that. What's a WhatsApp and Facebook roll into one?
Yeah.
The article says if you had a AIM email address, that won't be affected. You can still use your email. But you can only...
It's just literally the chat client that's going away, basically.
Yeah, the old chat client. The one where they had to invent the original kind of concepts of AFK messages and maybe... No. Did they come up with the Marcons? They might have been one of the early ones. I mean, they didn't have them on phones, because it's text only.
Yeah, possibly. It was either AIM or MSN Messenger the first places I saw emoticons. They were also on Yahoo Messenger. I don't know which came first though. I used to use all three back in the day though.
Well, it says here they've loved working on AIM for us. From setting the perfect away message to that familiar ring of an incoming chat, AIM will always have a special place in our hearts.
Yeah, and that little opening and closing door sound effect when your buddies go on and offline.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not an antiquated feature at all, is it?
That was always nice though back in the day.
So yeah, it's Facebook just did that now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, but
times
it had to happen at some point. I mean, let's face it, nobody uses AIM, not really. So yeah, just that speaks to us because being as old as we are, we basically grew up with that program. So yeah, end of an era. Shed a little tear. Play a tiny violin for AIM.
I'll raise this empty glass to it and drink the dregs of this Bolt Blue energy drink to it.
Pour one out. All over the floor. I'll if I can find a bucket, I'll pour one out for AIM later.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a shame for AIM, but people have to move on.
As does the podcast.
Speaking of moving on, yeah, I just wanted to briefly mention.
Oh, too late.
It's fine. Just wanted to briefly mention, going into entertainment.
Yeah.
I can't talk about this for a long time, but I don't know how I missed it for all these years. Well, this year, should I say. I started watching Stranger Things the other day.
Ah, yes. The titular phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, with only, like I mentioned a couple of episodes back, I only recently renewed my Netflix subscription. So, and started viewing Netflix again. So I
You're getting
remembered.
that subscription.
Yeah, it's going up to $7.99, but I think I pay $7.49 anyway, so it's only going up 50p for me.
Oh yeah, true.
So yeah, I'll pay an extra 50p. The service has been getting better and better the past few years. That's the reason I resubscribed. So I remembered Stranger Things was a thing, and yeah, I started watching it the other day. It's seems pretty good so far. I've only really seen the first episode and a little bit of the second one, but so I can't really talk much about it now. But I have to say I like what I've seen, and I'm definitely going to try to have watched all the way up to the end of season 2 by the next podcast.
If you're a sucker for nostalgia, it's a pretty good place to go if you're in your early 30s, mid 30s even, because you'll have grown up in the 80s.
Yeah, if you remember the 80s at all,
90s-ish, but we still had some hangovers from the 80s, so yeah.
If you remember the 80s at all, then and it really is the sort of, I wouldn't say it's a horror series, but it's more like a thriller with horror. There's a little bit of horror, a little bit of thriller, a little bit of drama, a little bit of family stuff. It's good.
If you think about the 80s segments of Back to the Future, they kind of recreated the 80s vibe very accurately. There's no mobile phones around.
Yeah, what I like about that is they've accurately represented the 80s. They've not tried to shoehorn aspects of the 80s in where they don't belong. So you've got like the kids using walkie-talkies, like the style that they would have had in the 80s, just because that's what existed at the time.
Yeah.
They've got like the telephones, and because no one has a mobile, so your telephone's in your home. It's great. It's fun seeing all the little 80s things, like the little 80s push bikes the kids are riding around on, and
it kind of makes you feel it's very ET-ish because of that.
A little bit, yeah.
Bikes.
Yeah, the plot is very slightly ET as well, I will say.
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen all of season 1 and 2, so I don't want to discuss it too much for fear of spoilers.
Be able to. We should probably just we'll just cut this chat here, and we can resume it next podcast when I've watched it all, and we can discuss the whole series in detail.
Next time, even more Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's a preview of what's to come.
So that means game time?
Yeah, I think, I can't
Game time.
Didn't really start watching anything else, so games. Game time.
I've been playing a bunch of them this last 2 weeks.
Yeah?
I've predominantly been blasting through Tomb Raider. About 64% of the way through that now. It's
excellent.
A great sort of I wouldn't say it's fully open world, but it's a nice sort of moderate balance of open and worldy. But
has a similar sort of feel to the first game, doesn't it? Where the map's big and open, but you can teleport to bonfires.
I'm getting on with that, and that's going well. I think I'm near the end now, so hopefully I'll finish that next time and move on to something else.
Brilliant.
Probably this. Oh, put it the wrong way. This. South Park: The Fractured But Whole. So I've only played 90 minutes of this, but I wanted to get a quick feel of this in the over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've not quite worked out yet what is fractured or what is whole, but yeah, it's more, again, as a sequel, you kind of expect a lot of more of the same in its sort of vein of what they're going for from the first game. If you've watched South Park, and parental advisory, it's a cartoon for adults. There's lots of swearing and crazy hijinks like that. This game is a lot more of the same, except they've revamped the battle system, so it's like a tile grid style battle system, and you get to move around the squares a little bit,
Yeah, it's more like a small scale sort of tactics RPG, isn't it?
Small scale, yeah. As far as I've seen, you only play one person, but maybe that changes later in the game. I mean, it's not the greatest of reviews right now. It's just a first look. This.
Yep.
You are just the one guy, and you pick from your moves. I'm still getting used to it. It feels a little bit sluggish getting into your attacks and then triggering your attacks after playing the buttery smooth Tomb Raider, which just everything is so incredibly smooth in the controls.
But doesn't the Fractured But Whole actually run at 60 FPS now, or is that only on PC?
Oh, I don't know. I've been playing mine through remote play because of my wonderful setup.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
So
that might add to a little bit of your sluggishness.
This game doesn't really offer, so much that you would miss anything if you were downscaling it through remote play.
But it looks like South Park, doesn't it?
South Park.
Yeah.
What I mean about the controls, it's like a lot of pushing button combination puzzles and stuff. A lot of on-screen button pop-ups. It's very QTE.
Yeah, it's similar to the first game in that respect, isn't it? That has a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the Mario RPGs have a lot of similar things.
I think it might just be because I've not gotten, I've not played it for a significant span of time yet, that I've not settled into it. Or maybe I'm just after playing a native PC game, it's just different to go into a remote played game again. The humor's there. You get all your characters fully voiced by Matt and Trey and all the other South Park aficionados there.
Did you think someone like me who hasn't watched South Park for a while but still enjoys it? I did play the previous game. I think it'd be fair to say I could probably play this and be fine.
If you like the previous game, yeah. I think anything about these control schemes, you're gonna get. I anticipate you're gonna get used to it, regardless of what you.
I don't mean control scheme wise. I mean content wise.
Yeah. The gist this time round is that the kids have decided to start playing superheroes rather than.
They were basically playing Lord of the Rings last time, yeah.
So effectively, because they've changed game, you drop down from being the king who saved the world by finding the stick of truth back to a normal first new recruit superhero. So it's a clever little way to reset all your stats because they're playing a different game now. But at the same time, it is a new episode and continuing in the new kid's life in South Park. They kind of cleverly interweave that concept into it.
Yeah, so it's technically a direct sequel.
Yeah, it's a direct sequel but a different game. It's clever. A little mini thing you have is Coonstagram, because your options menu is his phone, and so as the story continues you gain apps that allow you to do more things. One of the quests is to take selfies with people, and the people won't let you take a selfie with them unless you help them or have enough fans already to take a picture. And you get to pick a filter and zoom the camera in a little bit and just change your facial expression. A little bit of funny stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
The game's going along, you have a little bit of the chatter of what the kids are basically saying as they go.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Definitely kept things spruced up a bit. I'll talk more about that, I think, next time on the podcast. I'm sure I'll play more by then. That's not the only South Park game I've played.
What else have you been playing?
Phone Destroyer, which is it's not like Fractured But Whole at all. It's a completely different game. The idea in this one is you are the sort of general or whatever, and you summon the South Park kids to fight the other group of South Park kids.
Okay.
It's a card-based game, a gacha card-based style thing, as you would imagine most phone games are.
Yes, this is a mobile game.
Yeah. This is the. It came out just the other week, I think about a week ago. So Fractured's been out a few weeks now.
Just me a sec.
And the
Thought I was going to sneeze then.
So I was waiting for it. I was like, don't sneeze. Phone Destroyer. It doesn't have the same kind of high budget kind of feel to it because like craziness going on all the time. However, as you do progress, it does show little cartoony animated clips, as I've taken from an episode of South Park. So that's a reward with the voice acting in. There's no like voice acting in the actual game play.
Okay.
Except for little short random sound bites as you summon things in.
Yeah.
But it captures the humour a little bit, and it's just a funny little way to see all the different characters dressed up as different silly things. The idea is just to summon the right combination of cards at the right time in the right place to win this little battle. But
that sounds like one to check out.
It's one to check out, but whether or not you feel the need to keep going is your own sort of choice. You are just playing the same battle over and over again, but a bit more difficult, I suppose. And then that difficulty is scaled by what cards you buy in the shop and that like.
Maybe I'll check it out.
And how much you can play though. Yeah, check it out.
Give it a go. Yeah. Absolutely.
Otherwise, I played Walking Dead No Man's Land, which is also a mobile game. Which is
I have heard of this one, yeah.
Mobile game, because that seems to
be
what I can do. Walking Dead No Man's Land is a slightly more graphically intensive take, because the game is like fully 3D. Actually, no, I forget. South Park is 3D, but they've just made it look like the cartoon a bit, so it's quite clever. Thinking back, anyway, Walking Dead. You have your basic camp that you evolve in your basic kind of stupid Game of War style way, where you just upgrade the buildings and click on the things to gain the bonuses. But the actual gameplay is like a deeper sort of strategy. You have 3 characters, and you take a turn, then the enemy takes a turn. You get to move the characters around the scrollable areas. They can be bigger than just one screen, kind of thing. Getting too close to a zombie will alert the zombie, and it'll come and attack you. Shooting will increase the amount of zombies that will occur after a certain amount of turns. So every 4 turns, more zombies will show up, and if you've been making loads of noise, then even more zombies will turn up. And there's challenges like finding supplies and enough car boots, or saving another survivor, or taking one of your survivors to open a gate whilst the other 2 fend off the zombies. So it's a bit more variety in that gameplay than, say, South Park. Though I do feel you have fuel in this game, so you can literally only play about 3 or 4 missions before you got to stop for the fuel to regenerate.
Yeah.
But it does seem like a more involved game than South Park. You get to unlock Daryl, which is it's kind of its main selling point. Daryl being the crossbow wielding guy from the TV series, who apparently didn't really feature in the comic books, or died at some point. I'm not too sure on that one. He became everyone's favourite guy in it.
Yeah.
Plus, he was in that random Silent Hill game that never got made.
Silent Hills.
The chap that plays Daryl, anyway. Norman Reed.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Oh, Silent Hills.
And you unlock more survivors. Basically, gacha game. You exchange accrued points to unlock better heroes from the game, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, South Park and Walking Dead, No Man's Land are very similar. But it's kind of nice to see them take the same concept, but from a different angle. The These are a lot better than Game of War and that horrible Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15 Game of War.
Yeah. They seem nicely made. South Park had a few glitches, but they were minor. There's like the sound dropping out and stuff. Not really seen any particular problems with Walking Dead. Like,
that one's been around for a while, I think, though. So
yeah, they've had time to fix it.
Mm.
Like with most phone games, they need a constant internet connection to work. So you can't just play this in your downtime unless you know you've got a good, reliable connection going.
That's always a bit of a pain with the phone games.
I literally did try to jump on this game whilst I was on the train, but then the game froze because train doesn't always go through a good signal area.
True, yeah. What a shame. It's always a bit of a pain when developers do that with their mobile games.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't have the internet. And sometimes that's the perfect time to just play a bit of a mobile game, but you can't. So.
Yeah, they can still have all these features, but just let the game update when it next comes online or something, or just have some aspects of the game disabled, like you can't hire any more heroes until you get
close off access to the real money shop because obviously you can't use it while there's no internet.
Yeah.
Things like
that. Thinking about that concept, I was reminded on the South Park game, and now I'm getting my mobile games mixed up now. Well, that's because I played 2. What can I say? To proceed in the South Park game, although you don't have to wait as much, you do have to beat PvP matches to proceed in the missions.
Okay.
So to beat a certain amount, and you've got to win as well.
Oh, right.
So if you're not good at PvP, that's maybe not the game for you.
There's going to eventually be a giant wall that you're going to hit, depending on your skill level, isn't there?
Yeah, because sometimes...
Or depending on your luck.
You might get a rubbish player. You might get the other you in this world.
Yeah. So I have not really played much this week. This past couple of weeks. Still sticking in with the Evil Within 2. But I have seen the campaign of the Evil Within through to completion, just not the DLC yet. So still just plodding around in chapter 3 of the Evil Within 2, which, so I've been told, is the longest chapter in the game. So once you get through chapter 3, apparently it all starts going from there.
It's funneling off a bit. So,
yeah. So we'll see how far I am next time, if I've not spent the entire time between now and the next podcast just watching Stranger Things.
I did spot, speaking of Stranger Things, they've got a mobile game that kind of coincided with their series. And
Okay.
I've not played it, so I couldn't really speak much on it. It's supposed to be it's freely available. It's like a retro RPG kind of game, bit like Earthbound style thing, and it's supposed to be fairly fully featured considering it's free. Might be worth checking out. It sounds pretty good.
Maybe I'll check it out before the next podcast. Might be something. I mean, I'm always looking for things to play while I'm sat at work on my break. So
it seems like a good
sometimes you have your hour's break and you eat your lunch in 10 minutes, and then you've got 50 minutes to just sit there and do nothing. So it's a nice time to just pull out a mobile game and have a bit of a play.
Perhaps this is a renaissance for mobile games, because we discussed, even though briefly, 3 different mobile games in one show.
Very true. Oh, back to PC and console next time.
Oh. I think that just about ties things up.
Yeah, I think we're just about done here. A slightly shorter episode than usual, but
that's because we trimmed down the old food section.
We cut the fat a bit. Yeah, I mean,
I'll never cut this much fat, but still.
I've cut some fat. Diet's going very well. Lost 7 pounds. So
down the sofa.
Yeah, I don't know. I need it. I need to eat. I've lost 7 quid. Yeah, so that's basically it for this week. So for this time, should I say?
Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who watched and or listened. You can find me on Twitter at Smugzilla. That's SMGZILLA on Twitter. There is a Facebook page, but it's still being fixed. It's not been updated for about a year.
I better
So
check
we're
that out.
gonna get back on that. We'll tell you via the podcast or via Twitter once the Facebook page is back up and running, and should be being updated weekly once it's all in order. So, yeah. So.
Well, that sounds like it's it from me, Dan.
And that is it from me. So we will see you next time on the Not Quite Serious podcast.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.